Welcome to the Rangers Rabble Dundee United live reaction. Now today the Rangers Rabble is brought to you by Manscaped, for the best in men's below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. We have an exclusive offer for all our listeners, 20% off plus free shipping with the code RABBLE at Manscaped. Now, Scott, we'll come on to how good Manscaped is shortly, but we'll get back to the football. So, great result again. Rangers 4, Dundee United 1. My name's Derek McMillan. I'm joined today by Scott. How you doing, Scott?
I'm fine.
Good, man. Oh, wait, which one?
He doesn't do these rosters pretty well. See if it was me, I would keep you separate. But anyway, we'll say Scotty and Scott here. Anyway, thanks for joining us, gentlemen. So, 3 more points, Scotty. We march on to 82 points. How happy are you this afternoon?
Delighted. I said this before. Love watching this team play. I think we started slowly, first 20 minutes, but to be expected after the exhilarating performance on Thursday. But then the boys stepped it up a couple of gears and just absolutely blew them away, did what we needed to do, and then coasted from there. Absolutely great stuff.
Yep. Scott Kerr, let's hear you, since you don't sound as if you're underwater now, mate. How you happy today?
I'm fine, I'm great. The performance wasn't great in the first 20 minutes, but after that, we scored the goals, we got the 3 points, and I'm happy. That's it, end of story. Happy, 3 points.
Yeah, we march on. So we'll look at the game in sort of more granular detail now. We made a few changes with Jack, Hadji, Balogun and Kent all starting. Scotty, were you surprised at that, or were you expecting these changes?
I was expecting the changes, and that's pretty much the team that I had in my head. I think we're now in a position where after today, I think we'll probably see Scott Wright a bit more. He'll be trusted a bit more, so then we can add him into the mix when we go for the next few weeks of rotation. And it's a really, really good point of the season to start introducing new players, because it looks like the league's pretty much wrapped up in the next couple of weeks. We're gonna looking like continue on in the Europa, so we've got a couple more games there, and then if and when the Scottish Cup starts, then we'll have a really busy schedule. So the timing of everything seems to be coming together quite nicely. I think it's just a little bit of concern with Ryan, Jack, Tav and Ruth, but other than that, positive.
Happy. Scott Kerr, were you surprised at the changes, or did you see them coming?
No, I've maybe seen 1 or 2 coming just after Thursday night. I thought the players might have been tired. I was surprised Jack started after his niggling injury, but I thought you see after 10-15 minutes he looked quite jaded. And I mean, off the park, it actually gave us more legs. I'm the park, we come into the game more. So I don't want to see Ryan Jack for real, but I think we've got a good enough squad in depth. And like Scott has said, bringing in Scott Wright and maybe Simpson once if the league's kind of nearly over. We've got a good enough squad, and hopefully we can continue in Europe. But get the league wrapped up first. That's my main concern.
Scott Kerr, you sound great, by the way. I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you very much.
You're heating your sink, so that's good. But anyway, we started sluggish, like you mentioned. But to me, that was a bit with Dundee United, so the way they set up. They played 2 up top. They played that diamond that they've seen causes problems in the Old Firm game. Now, Scott Kerr, do you think that was? I think we're given kind of we started slow, but do you think Dundee United deserve credit for that? Is I suppose what I'm getting at.
I do. I thought they came and they cut through us a couple of times. I think Allan McGregor would have scored. So they came with a game plan. They thought we'll go and attack Rangers because we're not expected to get points anyway. They came, they had a goal. Credit to them, and they scored a goal. They probably deserved a goal, maybe 2. So I mean, you can't say we were poor at the start, but you have to give them credit for coming and having a goal. It's better than teams like Motherwell who come to Ibrox and just sit with 10 behind the ball and you think, my God, that's one of these games. But United came, they had a goal, so credit to them. Well played.
I'll just mention Aldo McNaught, who seems to be our #1 fan. So Aldo, how you doing, mate? Cheers for your comment. Now, Scotty, Dundee United came to play, didn't they? They were decent.
Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me about them because I don't want to give them any credit. Don't like them. But for the sake of parity and talking about football in real terms, yeah, I thought they started off really well. They played some really, really good stuff, and it was actually refreshing to see. And I suppose, when we've been on the run at Ibrox that we have, we probably don't expect teams to actually come at us because teams generally don't. So I think a combination of catching us by surprise and their good play made us look quite poor. And if I'm being fair, yeah, give them credit, because the interchanges and passage of play showed they are a good footballing side. I think it's also really disappointing that they'll probably come away from this and they won't continue on in that vein for the rest of the season against other teams. I'm not saying against Celtic, just other teams, because it would make the Scottish football product a lot more pleasing on the eye. And I think that's the long game that we need to look at. That said, I don't really watch Dundee United, and I won't watch Dundee United. But from today's show, they've got some really good players, and I can't remember the guy's name in the middle of the park that played just behind Shankland. He looked a decent prospect. I think he's only 21.
Peria, was it Peria?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, and he looked pretty good. He looked pretty sharp, and he was very, very incisive. So I think he might be one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, totally agree. CGM's commented first half until we scored wasn't great, but as soon as we scored, then we put the foot down and we were excellent. Couldn't agree more with that. I've wrote my notes, which if Martin's listening, that's what you do during a game to make sure you keep the podcast flowing. We woke up in the 20th minute. And we started to take control. Aribo forced a great save, but just prior to that, McGregor had 3 saves, two saves and one sort of block. I mean, I feel as if I'm repeating myself again, but Scotty, how big has McGregor been this season?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's fantastic, because the last thing we want to do, whether it's the first minute, 90th minute, he's always on his toes, always alert, and he's always making saves. Obviously, I mean, I wouldn't want to be in the dressing room with him who've just won 4-1, but I still wouldn't want to be in the dressing room after conceding a goal, because he'll be absolutely raging at that. But he, time and time again, just pulls off save after save after save, and he does it with such almost nonchalance. So he doesn't really care. I mean, it could be the most spectacular save in the world, and it's just like, oh well, it's just what I do. And it's just playing as a defender in front of him must give you the world of confidence. He conceded 3 goals on Thursday, and he was really unlucky to. He's not a keeper that concedes 3 goals, and you're thinking, how the hell did he concede 3 goals? Because he had another great game on Thursday as well, but. His level of consistency when he's knocking on 40 is unreal. I mean, I'm 34 and I struggle to get out of bed. Do you know what I mean? So my back's sore. There's him just like diving all over the place, and yeah, he might do yoga or something. I don't know. I'll have to take that up.
I don't think McGregor's sitting up drinking, listening to Oasis to 4 in the morning. So that's probably why he can get his bed. Now, Al's your pal on Twitch, so if you're watching Twitch, big shout out to you. McGregor has an octopus in goals at time, and Scott Kerr, we've run out of things to say, but he was outstanding again today, wasn't he?
We have, but you know yourself, every season he's worth 15 to 20 points to us easy, because the times he pulls us out, he can be standing for 80 minutes a game doing nothing, and then you have to make a couple of saves to keep us in the game or get us a point. So that's harder. That's actually harder to play in goal doing that, because you can make great saves out of a match with a team that's not constantly winning and you can look good. But being in a team who's constantly in attack and then you have to pull off a save, it's a lot harder at times, because you need to keep your concentration. You can't turn off, and he doesn't. And like Scotty said, even when he conceded that goal at the end, he was raging. Even though we were up 4-1, the 3 points were coming to Ibrox, he was still raging because he wants a clean sheet. He's a perfectionist, and he always will be. And he could probably go in for another couple of seasons easy.
Hopefully, because he's going to be a very hard man to replace. There's no doubt about it. Now, as I said, we mentioned after these sort of couple of chances that Dundee United have, we seem to wake up and get going through the gears. A big, massive part was Joe Aribo. He started to get a foothold in the game, and for me, he was the best player in the park today. Scott Kerr, did you see us getting better as Joe Aribo started to come into the game?
I did. Joe Aribo frustrates me because he's got so much talent, but he can also be so lazy. But I think Neil McCann hit the nail on the head on the aftermatch. So when he plays forward, they offer so much more. Because when he's in midfield, he's got to track back. He struggles at times to follow his man or just defend. But when he's up top in the front three, he offers so much. I don't even know his best position, or if it's behind the striker out wide. But he's so quick feet. He's so intelligent at seeing things other players don't see. And the goal he scored, the strike was magnificent. He just put his foot right through it, and it just went in the net like an arrow. Do you know what I mean? The guy's got all the ability in the world. He just needs consistency, and he just needs to be constantly played until he finds his best position. I feel.
Totally agree. And Scotty, Kamara actually came on for Jack just after he would force that save from the keeper. I thought we looked a lot more fluid when Kamara came on. Ultimately, we got the goal. That man, Joe Aribo, with a shot that your man Hadji seemed to goal snatch for me. But were you pleased to get the goal at that time? I mean, it was 35 minutes. You don't want to be going towards half-time 0-0. So it was a key moment, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Well, you say, yeah, I completely agree. Hadji snatched it, but he needed to, because if he doesn't touch that, the keeper's saving it. It's a routine save, and the fact he does touch it, it goes in. So I think that's, it was great play from Aribo and a great instinctive goal from Hadji. Touching on Jack, I think there's signs of rustiness, and it's to be expected because he's been out for a while, and he's probably a bit tentative about his body rather than going full throttle. So I'll wait for the update and see what's occurring with him. But yeah, I mean, for me, Kamara's class. I just think guys like Kamara, Aribo, Hadji, they just link up so well in that kind of final, I don't know, third quarter area of the pitch, not the final quarter or the final third, so to speak, but they link up, and it must be a nightmare for defenders to trap them. And interestingly enough, I think Aribo is actually really coming onto a game from midfield. I think, I get the idea that his best position is probably part of the front three, but when he's a lot deeper and he picks up the ball, he's getting a lot of confidence in actually picking up the ball and driving at defenders. He's getting more and more confident in taking it around players and past players, and then creating almost a bit of disarray. And it allows, the likes, Ryan Kent's very good at this as well, allows Ryan Kent, Morelos and stuff, layoffs and just intricacies of play. So really crucial moment, the goal, which proved decisive. And yeah, good.
Yeah, it was great timing. And CGM in the comments again, Aribo was outstanding. Jack's again, but great to see Tav walking around in the stand. And that seems a nice time to mention that Clive Townsley, the fountain of all knowledge, seemed to let slip that Tav's injury might not be as bad as first concerned. Now, Scott Kerr, we'll wait to see, obviously, what the official channel and Friday's official line is saying. But, it'd be positive. Clive wouldn't have said that if it wasn't near the truth. So, how
he probably
be back in a couple of weeks?
He probably would. To be honest with you, they wouldn't rush him back because I think he's too important to rush back to break down again. And Balogun seems to have done okay there. I thought today in the first 20 minutes, we were looking for that out ball to the right, and Tav's not there. And so it was like we're constantly going to the left more. But Balogun came into a game more, and he put in a couple of decent crosses, to be fair to him. So, especially one from Morelos. So, to be honest with you, I'm not saying he's not going to be a miss. Tav, he will be, obviously, but I think Balogun can fill his shoes in until he's back fitness. I don't want to push him back unless it's a really important game, but to be honest with you, there's not many games left, and we should have enough in the locker to get the points we need, especially for the league anyway.
So you've just mentioned Balogun, and I've just wrote down Balogun assist. So the goal, 37 minutes came, Ryan Kent's again deflected shot, but Balogun knocked it on. So I was thinking, Tav who? At that point, it was really nice to see. So again, we'll score 35th. We're scoring the 37 minute. It kind of took the hope away, didn't it, Scotty? It kind of took the game away from Dundee United.
Yeah, and that it's a trademark of old Rangers teams. Get the first and then get the second really, really quickly. I think Advocat's team were really, really good at that. They're always, probably want a better phrase, really shit hot. So that's what it does. Strike while the iron's hot, and that's exactly what we did. I think in terms of Tav and Sasha Balogun, I think I definitely rather have Tav in the team, although Balogun's a decent deputy, and he did okay, and I think he'll get used to playing there. I think it's been drummed down our throats, like almost as if not to panic that start of Balogun's career he was a right back. So if that's reassuring anyone, then that's good to know. But I think the shorter time frame that Tav's out, the better, because it'll retain his level of fitness and he'll be able to come straight back in. And it's one of those things that only he'll know whether he's actually able to come in after a couple of weeks. And if it's only a couple of weeks, then the actual risk of it breaking down again would be minimal because it's only a couple of weeks. If it's a longer term injury, then that's when things like tendonitis and whatever can kick in, and it's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, so fingers crossed that we get some good news on that. But Kent's goal, I mean, I was surprised Kent played the 90 minutes today. Scott Kerr, I thought that he would, after having to come off the bench with carrying a knock on Thursday, that he would have been protected. But he got his goal, and he was a constant thorn on Dundee United side today, wasn't he?
He was. Ryan Kane's, to be honest with you, I think he's one of Gerrard's first picks in the team sheet, even if he's not 100%, because he trusts him that much. Not just so much attacking wise, but defensively as well. He does so much coming back, tracking back for Barisic and other stuff. So he was quite quieter than he was all night, but he still got his goal. He got in a few different creating chances. He was tracking back. So to be honest, his performance was good. Might not have been the best, but he was good. I like Ryan Kent, so I would also have him in the team.
Yeah, it gives that something different. So half time we won 2-0, and we've only really played well for 25 minutes, so that boded well for the second half for me. It was a confident, strong position to be in. Half time, Steven Gerrard would have been saying, let's go and take the hope away from Dundee United. And in the 47th minute, we done that. Joe Aribo with another fantastic goal, Scotty. I mean, he scored a couple of belters this season. That was right up there.
Class. Just that's what it is. It's just pure class. I mean, he was really unlucky not to get another class goal in the first half. So I think he just reeks of quality, doesn't he? And he's getting better. He's just getting more consistent. You got to think, like, he's only a young guy. He's not exactly been in around a professional setup all of his career. So he's got. I just think he's got like natural born ability, and we will get the best out of him. Just keep playing him, and he'll keep doing that stuff. And as I said, he's possibly hitting form at the best possible time for us.
Yeah, totally agree, Scott. Now we've been it's been a criticism that's been upon our team this year that we've not been shooting a lot. Yeah. That was 2 shots from kind of a small, kind of edge of the box that were deflected in today. But Joe Aribo certainly took his chance and took the shot. Yeah. It was a great goal. Do you see that as maybe how Aribo gets better, adding these sort of moments and chances to his game?
I think it does, yeah. But as Scotty said, he's still young, he's still learning, and he's developing. So that's all going to come, and it's just he's going to learn from mistakes as well. But he's got so much ability, so much talent. He just needs the right attitude and the right consistency. And to be honest with you, I think if he plays well enough, I think we can make a good profit on him when the time comes for him maybe wants to leave, because as we all know, he's not always going to be at Rangers. There's bigger fish in the Premiership money wise. So, but to be honest with you, as long as he's here, I'm happy to see him getting better.
Scotty, that is a model we have to follow. Unfortunately, Rangers have not been very good at buying these players for the prices that we got Aribo for. I think it was 300 grand a cross-border fee. Now, if he goes for 5-6 million, now I think it could be more, but this is the model that Rangers have to follow now, isn't it?
Exactly that. And you can actually see the cogs working. You're actually working on a basis of where the model really has to stand up is you need to get the replacements in before you sell these assets, and you need to have that conveyor belt, because as soon as you've got the money in the bank and you're trying to scramble for a replacement, that's where mistakes are made. It's all about the planning and the continuity. All the while, when he does leave, we've got to look at the bigger picture, because there's going to be people screaming that we need to get about 20 million from him. It's probably not the case. It's just making sure that we get the best value for us, not the highest. We'd love to get as much money as possible out of him, but we've got to structure it what's best for the club and the deal and the timing. I think the timing is really important, because we don't want to let these guys leave too early. Then again, we don't want to hang on to them for too long, because then they get frustrated and you end up with a possible like Edouard situation, who Celtic could have got like absolute loads for him in the summer. He's pretty much chucked it this season. All right, he's coming back now, but that's just decimated his value, and you don't want to do that. So it's all about having the right environment, creating the right timing, and keeping the players happy. And it looks like every single player at the club is loving playing for Rangers at the moment, which again is something that I have not seen against this Advocate. But then you hear some of the stories that they possibly didn't enjoy playing for Advocate, but you don't know until it's finished.
No, there's confidence, and Al's your pals comment again. It was good to see the new lads on today. So I think the way Rangers was playing allowed us to make more changes than what we maybe would have if it was still 0-0, 1-0. But getting that third goal, we had a chance to bring guys on. Now Arfield come on for Davis. They put Davis in that cotton wool for Thursday night for me. And we also seen Scott Wright come on for Hadji. Now Wright has impressed me right from the day he came in the door and he came on the pitch when he made his debut at Ibrox. Now the fourth goal came in the 63rd minute, and it was was an opportunist goal and it hit off Morelos. But if you notice, just before that, Wright picked up the ball in their own half. Only thought was going forward. They put that ball in behind for Alfie to run on. Scott Kerr, Wright's got that in his locker, but it looks like he's very dynamic, looks to go forward. Can you see him playing a big part from now to the end?
I can, yeah. I mean, Scott Wright is very talented. He's technically a very good football player. And what I've noticed is him since even before he came to Rangers, he's very direct. He always wants to go forward. So if he can bring that creativity to Rangers, I think it's a good thing for us. And you said he put the ball through at Morelos. So, okay, Morelos never got it, but he chased it down and he got a bit of luck because, to be honest with you, he was desperate for a goal. Doesn't matter how it come off, he was desperate. I thought he had a few chances he could have maybe took, but hopefully that goal coming off his chest, whatever it was, gives him a bit of confidence back because they just love scoring Alfie, but he's been playing well apart from the scoring goals. But as for Scott Wright, I think he will get more game time in the team. And he has one, like Scotty said, he's probably into the team now, so we could probably, if any big come in for Kent or Hadji in the next couple of seasons, Wright could be a replacement for him because he's here now.
So that's what it's all about, Scott, is it buying these players in development? And Clive Tilsley again made a great point. They're buying players that they think, sorry, it was Kevin Thompson actually, we're buying players now that we think we can make better. 22, 23-year-olds who have had decent careers, but we know we have confidence in our ability that we can make them better. Do you see Scott Wright falling into that category?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's really surprised me how good he is. He's got pace, he's got the technical ability. And then what really is the icing on the cake at Rangers at the moment is our coaching team. Not just the coaching team, but the tactical awareness that is being drilled into the players. And that only serves to make them a better player, but it also, when everyone is working unison as part of that team, it makes the whole team look a lot better than possibly they are. And I think, when you look at the most successful clubs, particularly in England, it's because they play as a team, they play as a unit, they shift across the park as a unit. And once you're part of that, it just gives you the platform to shine. And then having the balance between having that bit of freedom to express yourself individually, which is what we do very, very well at the moment. And I can really see guys like Scott Wright excelling and possibly, producing at about 120, 130% out of their level. Because let's be realistic. We've got this thing about Scottish footballers that they've all got their own ceilings. I don't believe that. I think that's just a mental thing and a lack of coaching, a lack of tactical awareness, which hopefully is changing over the next 10, 20 years. So, very excited for his future and the plans in place at the moment.
So, if we just come back to great Alfie Albion, credit for Alfie, he had a couple of chances in the first half. He'd one cleared off the line. He probably should have scored. I mean, Scott Kerr, how pleased were you when he managed to get that goal? Fortuitous goal, of course, but he'll not care. He moves on to he gets his goal, and Gerrard could almost take him off without him stopping. That was good for him, wasn't it? I
was pleased for him because I thought on Thursday night he was probably one of the best players in the park. The amount of work he put in and the assists and just his work rate. And I thought today he was doing everything apart from his scoring, so getting that wee bit of luck, hopefully gets a bit of confidence back in him, and because he can score goals, all know that, but sometimes you go through a barren spell and your confidence goes, you're taking the extra touch, or you're maybe taking the extra second to shoot, so it's getting blocked. So hopefully this gives him a wee bit of confidence back and going around, because I like to see him score in the next couple of weeks.
Scott, I think the goal saved a strop. You don't think so? I think he was keeping him off when that hit the back of the net. Gerrard was back at the side, but let's all seriousness, strikers want to score goals. It was great for him.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how they go in, go off his arse, head, back of his head. It could be a screamer from 30 yards to a striker like Morelos. It's just about having that feeling of scoring that goal, and you can see he absolutely loves it. It's really, really encouraging to see that he never, despite his, supposed attitude, which I don't think he's got. I think he's just got a face like that. But he absolutely loves being on the pitch and he loves playing football. And I just want to see him score goals. I want to see him score as many goals as possible. And he's, one of my favourite things about him is the fact that he can miss a chance. He can miss 10 chances in a game, but he's never going to be discouraged. He's never going to hide. He's never going to play with his head down. He's just going to keep doing the same thing. He trusts himself. He trusts his ability. And he trusts his teammates to keep giving him the opportunities to score as well. We're in a really good place at the moment, and all that we're missing is Alfie's going on a run of about 5 or 10 games, just scoring consistently.
Well, it'll be perfect now. For me, it's get written in the stars that he's going to score the goal that wins the league, but we'll come on to that later on. Now,
I wonder where that's going to be.
Listen, I'm telling you, it'll be the biggest karma you've ever seen. So just on that, Fog Dog's asking if you had £1, where would you see us clinching the league, the place or the first game after the split? Now, Scott Kerr, what do you think? You think we're going to get it done? You think we're going to win the 3 games we need? Or do you think we'll need another game after the split?
To be honest with you, I hope we do, but I'm just going to take every game as it comes. Just now, I don't want to look too far ahead. I like to win it there, but no, I'm going to sit in the fence. I'm not going to say I hope we win the next 3 games. But I like to win it there. But to be honest with you, I don't care when we win it as soon as possible. That's all I'll say, as soon as possible.
Scotty, are we doing it in the next 3, or are we needing a game after the split for it?
Doing it in the next 3. Why you got splinters on your ass, Scott?
It's the first time we could hear you clearly, and you're right on that fence. That's not right.
No.
What about you? What about you, Derek? Where are you going to put that pound? Are you going to upgrade it to £10 like me?
If I was a gambling man, I'd have on us winning at Parkhead with Alfie Morelos getting the winner. Hopefully, like a 4-3 offside goal. That would be absolutely superb. But I'm getting too excited. Let's get back to the game today, right? So we were so far in control. As I say, the subs have came on. We've got a penalty that we could miss. Now, I was brought up in lefties don't miss, but Barisic, after these 2 penalties on Thursday night, missed one today. It was a slow ball penalty, was it? No arguments there, Scotty, yeah?
Correct, yeah. It wasn't exactly the best of challenges, was it? Just late, reckless, and thankfully Alfie didn't get injured. But the penalty, it wasn't a bad. He didn't hit the penalty badly. He just telegraphed it. He just really obviously telegraphed where he was going to put it. I don't know his past history. I really should have looked into it because I mentioned it on Thursday. Whether he was a penalty taker or Osijek, I assume he was. Maybe he should get practicing if he wants to stay on there, or maybe he's just covering until Tav gets back, because hopefully it won't be too long. Yeah,
it was almost disappointing he missed it, but as I say, if I wouldn't have any hesitation of keeping him on penalties, to be honest. I mean, he's ice cold on Thursday night when it mattered, and maybe the pressure was just a bit off, and maybe we'll just take it for the Wowser pals. They want to go to this champs and get the Guard of Honour. I don't want them to clap us on apart. They deserve to do it, in my opinion. So we'll move on from that. So we got a chance to see another new at Everton today, and that was Jack Simpson, who came on, and also Jermaine Defoe. Now, Scott Kerr, Simpson, it's hard to judge in a game like that today, isn't it?
To be honest with you, you can't judge him. I know it might have been a wee bit fault for the goal, and it just maybe because Rusty's not played that well. He's just sitting on a new team, but you can't judge up all that. You have to give him at least a dozen games. I'm not even talking this season. I'm talking next season, so he bed it and gets a pre-season under his belt before we can even say is he good enough. So it's harsh now, lad, but it's good to see him. Good to see him get run out. So just so we can see what he's like and stuff like that. So I'll wait till next season to finally judge him.
Yeah, and SDM in the comments says Simpson clearly not Matt Sharp. Scott, do you agree with that? Can't judge.
Yeah. When centre-backs come into the Scottish game and they're not really used to it, they're probably not used to the physicality, and it really sounds daft as a centre-back not being used to physicality, but particularly when they come from England, it's a lot more the game's played in front of you, to the side of you, behind you, rather than that big physicality up front. There's only really a handful of strikers in England that do that now. So when you're up against it constantly, he'll get used to it, and he'll if it's like sink or swim, isn't it? Either he gets used to it or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, well, thanks for your efforts. Off you go, because you just sadly you just won't make it. But when you got a guy like Connor Goldson next to you, I don't really see how you can really fail.
Yeah, it's a low risk, high rewards signing.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought he looked great on the ball. A bit suspect at defending, but that could be just rustless again. He'll get to play more opportunities, and we'll be able to judge him later on, not as after 25 minutes against Dundee United when we're in control. Now we lost a goal. I know that's only the second time we've seen it said that this season at Ibrox. it was disappointing, wasn't it, Scott Kerr, to lose it. I know we're 4-0 up and we're cruising, but I mean, I was almost as angry as McGregor was. We're just used to it. Are we just spoiled?
Yeah,
Are we just spoiled?
we are. We're spoiled because we've not had it for so long. I don't even say it's spoiled. It's just we like to see Allan McGregor get a clean sheet. We like to have clean sheets at Ibrox. We don't like to concede goals because we've been used to it this season. So for it to happen, we weren't happy. But to be honest with you, at the start, I said United probably deserved a goal. So I'm not taking that away from them because they actually came and played quite well. So it's a bad goal to lose, but end of the day, it was 3 points and I was happy with that.
Now, Scotty, I am just getting some breaking news through text message. That the rumours are that Tav and Roof will both be back within 2 to 3 weeks. Now, again, we'll wait for the official line, but fingers crossed that that's correct and we get back to full strength, because although the league may be nearly in the bag now, we still have Europe and hopefully the Scottish Cup to go. But we'll march on now. Just to kind of end today's live reaction, Dundee United, we saw a couple of minutes about the table itself. Now, we've played... we're on to 30 games now. We've played, with 82 points, but 26 wins, 4 draws now, I think. We've scored 73 goals, we've lost 9, and there we go. Thank you very much for that, whoever's in the background. And our goal difference is 64. I mean, I could sit and watch this look at this table all day, but there's a lot of hard work behind that. Scott, how good have we been to make it this comfortable? We've had a couple of negative results, but we just keep coming back. We're just so strong, aren't we?
Yeah, the consistency is astounding. You know, it's all good and well for people to look in from the outside and say, "Oh, you've squished the league. League's a pile of piss or Farmers League or whatever you want to call it." But you still need the consistency to go out there and win these games week after week, time after time, in all kind of conditions, all kind of grounds. It takes a real mental toughness to be able to do that. So that record, it's something that these players will, I'm sure, will be proud of for the rest of their careers. It's really, really important to get the icing on the cake and continue it to the end of the season, because this isn't the finished table. The one thing I'm actually quite disappointed about is conceding the goal, because I really, really want to go to the end of the season with that goal against column in single digits. How incredible would that be? And that goal, takes away our buffer now. We can't concede a goal for the next 8 games, and that's a big ask, because there's a lot of football to be played. But yeah, immensely proud of the team. This is very, very close to being cemented as my favourite Rangers team ever. So it's quite a statement.
It's a statement, Scotty. But Scott, looking at the table there, there's 8 games to go. We've been talking about going undefeated maybe for the last couple of months. Would you almost be upset now if we don't do it because there's 8 games to go, or are you not bothered?
To be honest with you, I probably would, looking at the table, yeah. And I'll probably say, we've not been given the credit this season we deserve, especially where Gerrard's come in and the team we had there just now. Everybody in the media points to other things like Celtic's Dubai and other stuff in the league, or we're getting this favouritism. To be honest with you, if you look at the table this time that last season, this season, just even a year's difference. Gerrard's done remarkably well, him and his coaching staff, considering it still's roughly the same players that's there. So how well they've been coached and how well they put it in their own heads after last season's disappointment, it's just tremendous what the players have achieved so far. And if we went another 8 games without getting beat, we're up there with, talk about Brendan Rodgers aside, but we're up there with him, because you can't take it away for this team. Nobody's just been, Celtic went through winning leagues when we weren't even there, against Bob Kiernan and players like that. I mean, look at that Rangers side. No, remarkable. They're well chuffed, and if they can go 8 games, that'll be just as good as winning the league. It's for the guys, because it's been fantastic.
So we'll knock that right in the head here with Celtic. They've kind of threw it away. I'll address this comment in a minute. David Ray, basically television, is ahead of mine and told me it was 2-0 before I seen it. He's my neighbour. I probably heard them screaming before it hit the net. So cheers for that, Davey. But Celtic have capitulated. Everyone keeps saying, but even if they hadn't, they would have to have had the season of their lifetimes, the best season they've ever had to keep up with us. They've done it once, and that's under Brendan Rodgers. They would have to have the season to mark that, to be even on the same points as. So let's get this right here. Rangers have caused this and done this to them. They haven't done it to themselves. We've went ahead, we've stayed ahead, and they have not been able to keep up with the first Rangers team, in my opinion, that's been capable of winning a league. And they have totally legs have collapsed under the first bit of pressure they've ever been under, and now they can't call us bottle merchants because they've done the exact same, just like their old manager Rodgers did when he first seen Gerrard getting better. So, as I say, long way to continue. Now, again, we've got. I think we need maybe 6 more, maybe 4 more points, to be honest with you. But let's go on to the next game and let's keep winning. We now have a little break before we come back, and hopefully we come back and get our 3 points away to Livingston, who hopefully win the cup final next week and get drunk for a couple of days, to be honest, so that they come back and they're half pissed and maybe we're too good for them. But Scott, any last comments on the game today, or anything to sum it up? And then I'll ask a man of the match, but then you'll tell me it's Joe Aribo.
You've just ruined everything that I was about to say there. Interesting. I don't think Livingston are really much to fear. I think they've had a couple of dodgy results and it's taken the wind out of their sails. So it's interesting enough, no one's really talking about David Martindale for Manager of the Year anymore. I think exactly. They were so desperate to find the faux hero, but I think all we have to do is stay calm for the next couple of games. Interestingly enough, I don't want to talk about them, but they've got a really tough game, albeit against bottom of the league. But I wouldn't want to be playing in Dingwall tonight. Bloody freezing, windy 7:30 kickoff on a Sunday. Bloody hell! I mean, yeah. And do you want me to tell you my man of the match now? Hadji.
Yeah, go.
Hadji for stealing Aribo's goal, just for you, Derek.
Scotty, you're lying. Janet Gallagher's probably a bit better than me and said that, strong Rangers came and Celtic have folded like a pack of cards, and couldn't put it better myself as the ex-chairman Dave King did. Now, Scott Kerr, any final comments and to the man of the match?
Has he got to go put a penny in the leggy machine or something?
I can't go and put the lights on. I'm sitting in this live pod and I'll go for Joe Aribo. Joe Aribo, I mentioned Allan McGregor for a few saves he made before we scored.
McGregor definitely deserves a mention. We could have been 2-0 down without him, but for me, Aribo's goals and assists just takes him over there. So with that, thank you very much for listening to the live reaction for the Dundee United game. Rangers march on to 82 points. We are now mathematically 9 points away from winning our first title in 10 years and number 55. It's going to be an exciting few weeks. Never mind the exciting few months. We're still in Europe, so let's hope we get the job done. And thanks everyone for listening tonight. Cheers.